Hi, I'm Renee and I'm a trans voice teacher. I have a very special announcement at the end of this video, so please stick around to the end. Over the last few weeks, this community has doubled and now this account has 20,000 followers. I am so thrilled and grateful because honestly, this work is so much easier when you're surrounded by a community of love and support. Due to the rapid growth, I've been inundated with requests for private lessons, and there's just no way that I can teach everybody within a reasonable amount of time. The last thing that I want is for my services to become just another thing that trans people have to sit on a waiting list waiting for. So I have decided to create a course called Trans Vocal Exploration. This course will be entirely pre-filmed so that anyone can gain access to all the information that I have without having to wait on a waiting list. People will be able to learn at their own pace, and it will be much cheaper than taking several weeks of voice lessons with me. Trans Vocal Exploration launches sometime this summer. I'm not exactly sure when, but to be notified when it drops, simply go to the link in my bio and sign up for the mailing list, and you'll get an email when it comes out. To make this happen as quickly as possible, I'm actually taking about 6 weeks off from private teaching, which means that I am not going to be making any money during this time. So if you wanted to support me in this project, I would really love if you could head over to my Patreon. That's patreon.com/Renée Yoxon, and support me there. Thank you all so much for following. None of this would be possible without all of you lovely people, and I'm really excited for all the things that are in our future together. I'm a gender-affirming voice teacher, and I'm here to tell you that you are already an expert at modifying your voice. Humans change their voice all the time to suit the context. To better understand this, I want you to perform what I like to call a voice audit. Think about how you talk when you're speaking to a cashier, a parent or guardian, your best friend. If you work in customer service, how do you speak to customers? If you have a job, how do you speak to your boss? If you're in a relationship, how do you speak to your significant other? Now think about how you speak to your pet. How do you speak when you are very joyful or excited? How do you speak when you're angry, sad, tired, sick, excited? Did I say excited twice? Anyway, you can fill this in with anything that you want. Think about all the ways in which you already use your voice. Once you have that list, try to compare and contrast how it feels to speak in two different voices. Try and explain to yourself, how am I making those two different sounds? What structures are changing? And that is a voice audit. I'm a trans voice teacher, and if I'm on your timeline, you may be training your voice to better align with your gender. If so, stop scrolling. It's time to practice. But first, let's warm up a little. No. Blah 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 blah. Okay, in your target voice, practice saying the following common phrases. Pause this video if you need to practice it a few times. Hi, how are you? No thanks. Yes, please. I'll have an iced coffee. Have you seen my keys? I'll see you tomorrow. Now, write a list of common phrases that you use a lot in your own life and practice those. I hope this helps. Hi, I'm a gender-affirming voice teacher, and today we're talking about vocal anatomy, part 3. A question I often get asked is, what is the difference between head voice and chest voice? We call these two registers head and chest because that is where we tend to feel the most vibrations. Chest voice is the register used when speaking normally, as I am now, and head voice is the register used when singing high notes or laughing or when you're excited. Both registers are of course produced by vibrations of the vocal folds. However, there are distinct sets of muscles that dominate in each register. Inside the larynx, there are the thyroid-arytenoid muscles, or TA muscles, which run parallel to the vocal folds, like this. When they contract, the vocal folds are shortened and relaxed, allowing them to vibrate more slowly. Slower vibrations produce lower notes. So these muscles produce the chest voice. Fun fact, this is one of the reasons why when you're trying to force your voice to produce a lower and lower pitch, it can result in fatigue. Your TA muscles are working extra hard. On the outside of the larynx are the cricothyroid or CT muscles. When they contract, they pull the larynx up and forward. This helps to keep things from entering your windpipe when you swallow. But it also pulls on the vocal folds, making them tighter and longer and causing them to vibrate faster. Faster vibrations produce higher notes, and that produces what we call the head voice. I have so much more to say about these muscles and how they interact and the head voice versus chest voice, but I'll save that for another video. Hi, I'm Renee. I'm a trans voice teacher, and today we're answering the question, how do I break the habit of my old acquired voice and create the habit of my new target voice? To answer this question, we have to understand a few things about habits and the brain. Brains are essentially reward-seeking machines. Whenever an action you do provides a reward, like a pleasant sensation, a good taste, or a fun noise, your brain tries to figure out what led to that action so that it can remind you to do it again so that you can get the reward again. To put more simply, habits need a cue, an action, and a reward. For example, I always brush my teeth when I get out of the shower. Getting out of the shower is the cue, brushing my teeth is the action, and that minty freshness is the reward. Fun fact, mint was actually added to toothpaste for exactly this purpose. We need to think about developing a new vocal habit in the exact same way. What is the cue and what is the reward? If you're just starting out, you can add your vocal practice onto an existing habit. So after you brush your teeth in the morning, practice a few sentences in front of the bathroom mirror. If you're having trouble staying in your target voice throughout the day, you can get a sheet of colored dot stickers and place them all over your apartment or on things that you own, and whenever you see one of those dots, it can remind you to get back into your target voice. The gender euphoria itself can be the reward, or you can gamify your habits using a habit tracker like Habitica. In the comments, share what you might use as your vocal habit cue and reward. I'm a gender-affirming voice teacher, and today we're going to learn about prosody, also called intonation or inflection. In speech, prosody refers to how certain words are stressed or inflected to give a sentence meaning. For example, if the phrase is I want to go, you could say I want to go, or I want to go, or I want to go. All three of those have a different meaning. In some North American English, voices that are perceived feminine tend to inflect using pitch, so going higher on a stressed word. I want to go. I want to go. Whereas voices that are perceived masculine tend to inflect using volume, which is also called barking. I want to go. I want to go. Big caveat here though, gendered aspects of prosody vary wildly between cultures, languages, age groups, regions. So as I said, this barking versus singing thing is only really relevant for some North American English, but I can talk about other languages in future videos. In the comments, tell me where you're from and whether or not you notice gendered prosody differences. Hi, I'm a trans voice teacher and welcome to Voice Masculinization Week. This week I'm going to be posting only videos on how to masculinize your voice, so if that's your jam, head over to my channel because the first video is already up. See you there. Hi, I'm a gender-affirming voice teacher, and today I want to talk about pitch lowering. This is one of the most common questions I get in my comments section. How do I lower my pitch? How do I have a lower voice? I wanted to clarify some myths around this. There is no direct analog for lowering pitch for masculinization and raising pitch for feminization because we have a lot more headroom generally in higher notes than we do in lower notes. I would say most people sort of speak in about the low to mid part of their range. So we can't go super far down. But we can move one or two semitones, and I'm going to show you what that means in a second. And that will make a really huge difference. So the first thing to do is to figure out where you sort of sit range-wise already. And the way I like to do that is by counting to 10. So just in a normal way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 10. So I kind of have this octave. So that's pretty common as the feminine perceived octave. I'll talk more about that in a future video. But if I wanted to masculinize that, I could start by just lowering that whole counting by a semitone. So if I give myself a new note, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 10, right? Or I could start a semitone lower than that. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm trying to keep the average sort of the same, but that's as low as I would like to go. I really don't want to go lower than this. But we'll see in the next video that there is a lot more you can do with other characteristics other than pitch. So we'll see you there. Hi, I'm a trans voice teacher, and today I wanted to talk about resonance for voice masculinization. So as I said in my last video, a lot of people tend to hyper-focus on lowering their pitch for masculinization. However, we can get a lot more juice out of increasing our resonance. So one way to do that is by making your vocal tract a lot larger, because larger vocal tracts will give us a darker resonance, and conversely, smaller vocal tracts give us a brighter resonance. So to start this, you can just do a nice yawn. And you can see that that's lowering my larynx. Just try breathing like that. with the larynx in the lower position. And then when you're ready, you can try adding sound. Speaking like that with the lowered larynx. Now, if we add that to the exercise I did the other day, the counting exercise, let's say I start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that is increasing resonance. Hi, I'm a trans voice teacher, and today I wanted to talk about secondary resonance or body resonators for voice masculinization. So yesterday we looked at how increasing the size of the vocal tract through yawning can give us a darker resonance. But something we sometimes overlook is which muscles and bones are vibrating sympathetically with the sound that we're making. A lot of feminine voices tend to vibrate more here in the mask. So if you make a sound like you can put your hands here on your nose and feel that vibration. However, if you put your hands here on your chest and go ma, ma, ma in a relaxed way, you'll feel the vibrations here. Now, if you put your hands on your lower belly or like on your ribs and go pa, 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 maybe on your sides, pa, you might feel vibrations here. If you're not feeling those vibrations, you might be tensing up or thinking of your voice kind of high in your head. Try to think of your voice as lower in your body and relax into those low spaces. Pa. And then when you add the scale exercise from the first video and the resonance exercise from the second video, with this, we get this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whoa. Yeah, and that's it for Voice Masculinization Week. If you have any further questions, please leave them in the comments and maybe I'll do a little bonus video. See you soon. Hi, I'm a trans voice teacher and I wanted to make one more video for Voice Masculinization Week. I've read a lot of your comments and one question I get a lot is how do I prevent myself from speaking in a higher, more feminine voice when I get excited or anxious? And I think the best way is to start to connect your masculine voice with a specific cue word that helps you get set into that masculine voice before you speak, always. So for example, I really like to use the word because you can use it at the start of any sentence. So if every time you say you get into your masculine voice, then it can become a habit. Yeah, wow, that's so exciting. You know what I mean? So try to think of one cue word that you can use to get set so that you get into the masculine voice before you speak every time. I hope this helps. Hi, I'm a trans voice teacher and welcome to Voice Feminization Week. This week, I'm going to be posting only videos about voice feminization. So if that's the information you're looking for, click on this button here because the first few videos are already up. Hi, I'm a gender-affirming voice teacher, and today I want to talk about pitch raising for voice feminization. So the important thing to know here is that we always want to stay within our speech range, otherwise known as our chest voice, when we're altering our voice, no matter what, because it's not very natural to speak up here in our head voice. It sounds kind of Minnie Mouse-ish. So when we're changing our voice, we always want to pick notes that are on the high end of the speech voice, but not crossed over into that Minnie Mouse voice. But before we get into choosing notes, I want you to warm up your voice every single day. Start with a big yawn. And then we're going to do some glissing. Ah. It might also sound like ah. Both are fine. Now we'll do some lip trills. And now we're going to do some pitch circles that get larger each time. So it sounds like this. Ah. One more time. Ah. Now take a big breath in and hold it. And let it out with a nice sigh. Now you don't have to follow along with exactly my notes. Pick notes that are comfortable for you. All you want to make sure you're doing is stretching your voice slowly and comfortably. Click here to check out part 2 of pitch raising for voice feminization. Hi, I'm a trans voice teacher, and welcome to Pitch Raising for Voice Feminization, part 2. Now that we're all warmed up, it'll be easier to figure out which notes at the high end of our speech range are comfortable for us to start working. In my experience, most of my trans feminine students start somewhere between E3 and A3. Now, when I sing these notes, they're going to sound lower in my range, but if you're trans feminine or if you've gone through a testosterone puberty at some point in your life, those notes will feel kind of high in your range. So for example, if we start on E3, ah, for you, that might feel like ah, and that's totally great. So I'm going to pick a note a little higher so that it's easier for you to hear. Basically, I want you to start by humming on your chosen note. So I'm going to choose A3. And the first thing I want you to do is just start memorizing your chosen note. Put it on your phone or find a song that starts with that note. Just get that note into your head so that every time you start speaking, you always start with The next step is to start to get used to the contour of a higher pitch. Now, a lot of contour starts on one note and then we jump up higher and then it comes down. So like, for example, the phrase, I want to go, I want to go. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now the trick here is that 6 should be higher than 5, but still in your speech range. So you don't want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See, I crossed into my head voice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me know if you have any questions below, and I will try and put out another video about pitch raising later this week. Hi, I'm a trans voice teacher, and today we're talking about resonance for voice feminization. So resonance is a measure of brightness or darkness of a fundamental pitch. So if I take the pitch I was using from yesterday, I can sing that note in a bright way or a dark way. So or oh, but the note is always the same. It's always A3. So resonance is controlled by the size and shape of your vocal tract. So the space that the note travels through after it leaves your larynx. So for voice feminization, we control the size and shape primarily through moving the larynx up to shorten the vocal tract. So to start to gain control over this, we're going to start with an exercise called larynx pull-ups. I want you to start by yawning, bringing the larynx all the way down. Then say E, E, and you can see it, my larynx moves up. E, E. So once you've kind of felt that movement, try to do it without the addition of the sound. So just make the shape of E in your throat without adding sound. Now you shouldn't do it so hard that you are unable to breathe. Like you should be able to breathe relatively freely while you're doing this. That's sort of the trick to this. Once you've done that, you'll be ready for part 2. Click here because it's already up. Hi, I'm a trans voice teacher, and today we're talking about resonance for voice feminization, part 2. Now that you've gained some control over the larynx, we're going to move air through the vocal tract without bringing our vocal cords together to create a sound like white noise or like a crowd cheering. And the crowd goes wild, right? So make that sound. And then you're going to move the larynx up and down to try and change the resonance, the brightness or darkness of that cheering crowd. So if I start in a yawn, you won't be able to do this for very long because you move air so quickly. But watch what happens when I move my larynx up. You can see here, the sound gets brighter. Now I can do it in a gliss as well. So this should be something that you are able to do relatively easily. And if that becomes very easy, then you can start by putting your larynx in that position before you add the air. Getting to that resonance space right away. If this is really hard for you, you can do it on pa. Once you've mastered this, you can add sound. Any note will give you a bright sound. But the larynx should stay in the upper position. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll try and make another video about resonance later. I hope this helps.